Okay, I'd like to call to order this regular council meeting of the Town of Saugeen Shores. First item on the agenda is disclosures of pecuniary interest, and I'll ask any member if they have a pecuniary interest with anything on this agenda. Seeing none, of course you can declare one anytime if you need to. We have no additions, deletions, or amendments, so the next is adoption of the minutes. And I have a motion moved by Vice Deputy Mayor Huber, seconded by Councillor Grace, that the Council adopts the minutes of the regular and special Council meetings of December 12, 2016 as presented. Questions or comments to those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Next is a motion moved by Councillor Grace, seconded by Councillor Dave Mayette, that Council note and file the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of December 12, 2016 as presented. Are there questions or comments to that set of minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Next is reports of Committee of the Whole, and item 1 is Community Service Parks and Recreation Report of December 12, 2016, and I have a motion moved by Councillor Mayette, seconded by Councillor Rich, that Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the Community Services Parks and Recreation Report dated December 12, 2016, recommending the following: that Council receives the 2016 Recreation Master Plan as presented by Todd Brown of Monteith Brown Consulting, and 2, that Council approves the location of North Shore Park as the preferred location for a splash pad to be built in 2017, and that staff proceed with a request for proposal for the construction of the splash pad. Questions or comments to the resolution? Councillor Matheson.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we separate these two motions, motions, that they be dealt with separately.
Thank you, Councillor. Is there a seconder for that motion? It's been seconded by Councillor Dave Mayette. All in favor then of separating these items 1 and 2 into 2 separate votes? Opposed? That's carried. So, we will take them one at a time then. Yes? On both items? Okay. Item 1 then, we'll take the 2 items separately. So we'll start with the following resolution: that Council receives the 2016 Recreation Master Plan as presented by Todd Brown of Monteith Brown Consulting. And we'll do a recorded vote.
Okay, I will do a recorded vote. I'll read your name out in alphabetical order. Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
Yes.
Councillor Grace. Yes. Vice Deputy Mayor Huber. Yes. Councillor Matheson.
Yes.
Councillor Mike Mayette.
Yes.
Councillor Dave Mayette.
Yes.
Councillor Rich.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And then we'll take item 2, that Council approves the location of North Shore Park as the preferred location for a splash pad to be built in 2017, and that staff proceed with a request for proposal for the construction of the splash pad. And we'll do a recorded vote.
Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
Yes.
Councillor Grace. No. Vice Deputy Mayor Huber. No. Councillor Matheson. Councillor Mike Mayette. Yes. Councillor Dave Mayette. Yes. Councillor Rich.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Okay. So that moves us on then to item 2, Committee of the Whole Report, December 12, 2016. And I have a motion moved by Dave Mayette, seconded by Councillor Mayette, Dave Mayette, seconded by Councillor Grace, that Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the Committee of the Whole Report dated December 12, 2016, recommending that Council supports MP Guy Caron's Private Members Bill C-274 regarding extending unfair taxation on family business transfers. Questions or comments to the resolution? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Takes us on to item 6, report of municipal officers and committees, and one item there, a staff report on the invitational RFP for the Island Street Storm Sewer Outlet Improvements. And I guess maybe I'll ask, there is a report here from the Acting Director of Public Works. Do you have any comments you'd like to make to this at this time? Okay. So there's a resolution moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Dave Mayette, that R.J. Burnside be awarded the project for the Phase 1 preliminary design of the Island Street Storm Sewer improvements for the quoted amount of $14,205 plus applicable HST, and that the Mayor and Clerk be authorized to sign the necessary agreement documents. Questions or comments to the resolution? Vice Deputy Mayor.
Just a comment to Len. How'd you manage to get so much money out of another level of government? Good for you. And I'm just curious about the timing of all of this. What's your sense of with phasing? You know, like how long are we talking about to see this all happen?
The funding we got had some strict deadlines to it. That's why this report is coming directly to Council instead of Committee of the Whole. The money has to be spent by March 31st, and as part of R.J. Burnside's schedule, it will be complete by March 31st. So within the next 2.5 months, it'll all be done.
Councillor Matheson.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Through you to Len. So are we filling in the washout, however you want to call it? Is that, can you just briefly explain to me what are we doing to divert the water from that area? Or is it?
That's the whole idea of this RFP, is the consultant is going to review all the background material, review the drainage, and come up with recommendations as to options or ways to deal with the, lack of better words, the scar that's down there. It's coming up with the planning, the concepts.
Further comments? This is another one of those great investments that we're making on our waterfront in Saugeen Shores this year, making this once again one of the best years of investment in a generation on our waterfront. That's a good line. I encourage you to repeat it. All right. So, if there's no further questions or comments, I'll ask all in favor. It's carried. Now, moves us on to bylaws, and bylaw 1 for this evening is bylaw 1, 2017, being the borrowing bylaw, and I have a motion moved by Councillor Matheson, seconded by Councillor Mike Myatt, that bylaw 1, 2017, being a bylaw to authorize the borrowing of money to meet current expenditures of the corporation of the town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 9th day of January 2017. Questions or comments to the bylaw? Vice Step. Oh, sorry. Then I'll ask the question. All in favor? It's carried. And that moves us on to bylaw number 2, which is moved by Councillor Rich, seconded by Councillor Matheson, that bylaw 2, 2017, being a bylaw to provide for an interim tax levy for the year 2017 and to provide for the payment of taxes and to provide for penalty and interest, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 9th day of January 2017. Questions or comments to the bylaw? The Vice Deputy Mayor.
Through you to the Treasurer, this idea of mailing tax notices, there's quite a few people in Southampton who've had Canada Post give us new mailing addresses. Can people just contact the municipal office, or is there some general message that can go out there? You know, because how do we update mailing addresses? Because Canada Post has changed so many people in Southampton to a street address from a post office box, and you know, there's some confusion there. You know, where do you send the address change card? To the town, to MPAC, where? And maybe if it is MPAC, perhaps the town could do some communicating about that. Thanks.
It is not through MPAC, it is through us. They can contact us directly. We will make the changes, and then any changes that we make, we also forward to MPAC, so they do get it that way. But if they send it to us, we can update our records first. And in most cases, we already have the street address, and it's just a case of removing a post office box. But yes, if they can contact us, we'll make the necessary changes.
Further comments? Being none, you've heard the resolution. All in favor? It's carried. That moves us on to item 10, the confirmatory bylaw, and I have a motion moved by Vice Deputy Mayor Huber, seconded by Councillor Grace, that bylaw 3, 2016, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 9th day of January 2017. All in favor? It's carried. Finally, I have a motion moved by Councillor Myatt, seconded by Councillor Matheson, that this regular council meeting of January 9th, 2017 hereby adjourns at 9:15 p.m. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you all very much. We are adjourned.